Oh, hello there. This is RJ Redden, and if you don't know me, entrepreneurs hire me to rocket launch their marketing message because they're shouting into a black hole, they're a carbon copy of everybody else, and they lack engagement on and offline. So I help launch a powerful digital message that gets them visibility, engagement, and profits. Bottom line, you got to get your bot out there. And with me today is a master of Facebook ads. Tammy Lane, you want to tell them who you are and what you do?
Thanks, RJ. I love you. I'm Tammy Lane with Facebook Faucet and the Profit Sweet Spot, and we help entrepreneurs bring in an automatic flow of clients using their Facebook faucet. I just love Facebook ads. They've been brilliant in our business, and we've brought in tens of millions of dollars in sales with our Facebook ad systems. And I'm excited to share some of that with you guys today.
Perfect. Well, I want to start out, Tammy, with a little event that you had a little over a month ago now, I think.
Yes, it is.
Okay, you guys. I went to Phoenix and I attended Tammy's last event where she will take you from zero to Facebook ad in this event. Now, if you're going from zero to Facebook ad just within the event, you don't have to do that. There's preparatory work you can do ahead of time. But I was so amazed at how well the event was put together, how you got 60 people in that room to hit the button at the same time and put their ads online. Like, I was completely amazed with that event. You did such a great job. You had the most expert technical help to us available. Like, I had to, I'm a geek. I'm a computer person, and I had to raise my hand at one point and go, I don't know where to go next, And like little ninjas, they just appeared out of the woodwork and, and said, oh, well, that's hidden underneath this button here. Go click that, and I'm like, okay. But I felt like you cared about every single person. You answered every single question. I mean, that event was absolutely outstanding. And I just want to say thank you for inviting me. And could you tell people about your next event coming up? I'd love to get that out there so people know about it.
Oh, thanks, RJ. Yeah, our next one's coming up the second week of November in California. So super excited about that. Don't mind the sunshine in November either, coming from Canada. I'm super proud of that event. So thank you for sharing that, RJ. We just put the whole team puts our heart and souls into that event to make sure you guys can get a really great result. Like RJ was saying, a lot of people come into the event without anything done ahead of time, although we have some classes ahead of time that allow you to pre-prep. I highly recommend that you do that. But even if you don't, we get your ads out there in a really powerful way. And I'm going to toot my own horn here a little bit, but our ads are some of the best performing in the industry. And we share all that with you right there at the event to get your ads up and running and bringing you in clients every day. So super passionate about that. It's a transformational 3 days in terms of, I struggled when I first started in business. I don't even know if I had 200 people on my list in my first year in business. And at that event, we're actually going to get your ads live in front of thousands of people right there while you're at the event. And that's just kind of life-changing in terms of how people's businesses go. So super proud of that. Thanks, RJ.
Yeah. It was astounding to me, and yeah, you should be super proud of that event. So let me back up because sometimes I get ahead of myself. Let me back up. Tell us, Tammy, what led you into doing Facebook ads in the first place?
Yeah, so I don't know, like many of your audience members, probably I was super struggling in my business. I, invested in honestly an embarrassing amount of programs in the first year in business, but I couldn't quite see what I needed. And I was almost at the point of having to give up. And I got this email from Facebook that was like, come try Facebook ads. They gave me an ad credit. That was back when ads first came out on Facebook. So they were trying to drum up business back then. And I took them up on the offer, but I had to get over some mindset issues, right? Like when I went online, I thought online marketing was free. And that sent me down this rabbit hole of creating tons of content and that I just wasn't successful in getting out there in a good way. And the ads just turned that around overnight. We went from, I say practically zero. I was probably bringing in about 1,000 or right around there a month, but certainly not enough to live on. And we scaled super quickly to $3 million in 6 months. And I owe it all to Facebook ads. Just overnight, starting to get your work in front of thousands of people was life-changing.
Well, it really is. And I myself, I deal with a lot of folks, and I hear from this audience all the time that, we're on a content, you call it a content creation roller coaster. And it's all about, because that's what the conventional wisdom is. Listen, if there's anything that I do in my entire life, I hope that I bust some conventional wisdom out there, because it's just, it's misleading basically, but it's all about, you got to have content, you got to go live, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. But if you can't get it in front of eyeballs.
Yeah.
So you deal with a lot of people then that maybe have that issue, that content creation issue, and how do you help them address?
Yeah, so I'm going to share a little dirty secret about my business. Here's the thing, like I get all the time, people are like, I was talking to somebody, I was at this huge high level event, and there was a gentleman there who had created like thousands of hours of content, but he still wasn't getting out there in a big way. And I was like, okay, here's the deal. $1 million a year, 4 blog videos. I have videos, 1 webinar, 1 free gift, and 1 funnel. And no other content. Essentially, I do some Facebook Lives, of course, every now and then. But honestly, we don't create a lot of content, and I don't post on Facebook. I do have a brilliant bot, thanks to RJ, where we have some little pieces of content, little short snippets of content going out in our bot. But other than that, I'm not creating content every week, and my team's not creating a lot of content every week. And people find that kind of fascinating. And some of you will find that to be a relief. I know some of you love creating content, and I say fly at it, but let's also get it in front of some eyeballs. And for those of you who don't love creating content, you don't have to. Shh. Don't tell anybody.
Well, and that's one of the things that is so interesting nowadays, because Facebook pages have changed so much. Mm-hmm. And now, like, if you are not paying, you're not going to get that content out there to anybody unless they somehow one day, I think I'll go directly to this page and see what it's all about. That doesn't happen very often.
It does not. Yeah, Facebook really has changed the rules. A lot of people who invested a lot of time and money in getting followers on Facebook, they saw that all go sideways when Facebook changed. It's just a year and a half ago now. Facebook really took that all off the board for, I'd say 98% of people are not going to get eyeballs on their stuff if they're posting it unless you pay for ads.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that it in one way that really causes a boon for you because people switch over to ads. But in another way, it causes people to go, well, now that I've got to pay for it, I'm going to figure out some other way. So it's like it probably was like kind of a dividing line for you.
Yeah, and the thing that was the turning point for me in viewing my business was when I actually calculated how much I was getting paid per hour to create content, and realized I was honestly at that time, I was probably working for a few dollars an hour. But even if you value your time at $20 or $30 or $50 an hour, which I hope you do, creating content isn't the best way. I would rather invest a tiny bit of money in ads, and we get our clients started with $10 a day with their ad budgets as little as $5 a day. That is so well spent if you even value your time at this tiny little value. And with ads, we can just cut a lot of the work off the table. And once you get your system for ads working, where you can invest $1 and bring out $5 or $10 or $100 in return, you can scale that and you can replicate it, and you don't need more of you to replicate it and bring in more dollars.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's like, you know, I mean, we're also sort of given to this idea of more content equals more content. More content equals better chance to be seen. It's not that way anymore. And your method, you know, let's put some money behind this, because the secret is you're already putting money behind it if you're putting your hours into it.
Yeah.
I mean, what you just said is that if you value your time at a certain $1 an hour, would you rather spend time making lots and lots and lots of content, or would you rather spend time putting that money behind an ad that you know will work?
Yeah.
So
or balancing it out. Like, if I know some people love creating content, and I'm not saying you can't create content, but balance it out with some hours in the content, and at least getting in that great content in front of the right people. And I one more thing on that is, I think that online is so busy now. There's so much content out there that clients value even more if you can be super concise in delivering tiny bits of content and tiny solutions, rather than having hundreds of hours of content.
It's true. I mean, it's, you know, I read about this about a year ago, I think. I read an article on content shock.
Yeah.
And how it's a deluge, which that's my biggest word for the day, everybody.
I love that.
Yeah, it's just a tsunami of everything everybody knows, right? And developing things in bite-sized content, which that's what you do for an ad. You know, you taught us that delivering that bite-sized content is so much more palatable. If it's something that someone can even use and put into action, it's even more valuable, because then that brings them right back around to, oh, that's where I got that. So what would you, you know, we have some folks out in the audience who are, you know, maybe just getting started, or maybe a couple of years into their business. You know, what would you tell somebody who's, you know, struggling and wondering, you know, because everybody is like, come this way. You know, that's the tough thing about entrepreneurs. Being an entrepreneur is everybody wants your money. And so they're all in your face. You know what I'm saying? So what would you tell somebody who's just maybe a couple years into their business starting out? What advice would you give them?
I know it's so tough, right? Your inbox is filled up with invitations of my way's the best way. And I guess the thing that I would have them take a look at is what the people who are making the invitations to you, how recently have they had some success with that? Because there's a lot of strategies out there. For example, search engine optimization stuff where you're creating blog articles. That's gotten super competitive and tough. And I know people are still promoting programs on it, but the most recent case studies of success are years old. And so that's one of the things that can help you figure out if something's going to be valuable or not. I obviously love ads because it aligns our interest with Facebook's interest, right? If Facebook's making more money, we're making more money because we're going to be profitable and invest more money in ads. The free content is never in alignment with the platform's interests. So Google, it's not in alignment with their interest because they want to make more money. The Facebook promoting your posts for free, not in alignment with their bottom line in terms of making more money. But ads, they will always help you be successful with ads because it puts more money in their pocket. And so that's one of the reasons why I love Facebook ads. I will say the other thing about Facebook ads that makes it easier to get started than other types of paid advertising is the frame of mind your clients are in when they're on Facebook is very open and connecting. Like they're looking for friends and family posts. They're probably procrastinating and killing time when they're surfing through the newsfeed, right? And so we get the chance to connect with them in a very non-salesy way. Whereas on the other platforms, you have to have a brilliant marketing message that has to get to the point and be, I call it marketing-y language. It has to be slick and all those things. when we're doing Facebook ads, the more you can create something that's like a friends and family post, and I have a gift for your peeps, actually, RJ. The more you can make it like a friends and family post that doesn't have slick marketing copy in it, the better you're going to do with your ads.
Yeah.
So it's easier.
It is easier because the whole thing about needing to be salesy, to have this language. I mean, I've actually paid people to teach me, go to Amazon book reviews and find somebody who's written a book similar to your topic and take the words that they're using to advertise and use those words. And people say you've got to speak your people's language, but I don't think that's what they mean. I mean, I love your approach of people are on Facebook not to go buy a product. When people say, I'm going to go shop for something, they don't go to Facebook, they go to Amazon.
Yes.
So you've got to be able to be heard, and the least salesy you can be, the more, the more successful it is. I love that because I hate salesy language.
Yeah, and that doesn't work on Facebook, right? Like people aren't in that frame of mind. I will say that our ads do still convert into sales many times the same day that somebody finds the ad. So it's not that you can't sell and make money right away off of it. It's just that the language that you're connecting with needs to be more in alignment with other friends and family posts they'd see on Facebook. Can I share that gift, RJ? I think that's super helpful. So what we have for you guys is our perfect Facebook ad template that walks you through exactly how to write a Facebook ad, all the elements that you need to have in there in order to create that post that's going to connect. And I think RJ has the link there in the chat for you guys. I'm super proud of that. We've based every ad that we've ever created for us or our clients. We have done for you clients, and we have a program where we train you how to do your own ads. Every single one of those is based on that ad template.
Well, and let me ask you this, because this I found really, really interesting during the event that you had. It was that, not every Facebook ad, I mean, people lead people to different places. You told us that Facebook ad, that connection, that place where people say, yep, I want that freebie, that's a first date.
Yes, it
is. So you also, I mean, so there's a lot of things to lead people to, but it's not necessarily I'm going to put my money in on Friday and on Monday I'm going to have $1,000 in my bank account. Sometimes it's I've got 5 or 6 phone calls on my calendar. So can you talk about the different ways that people use ads to lead people different places to kind of take them through the second date through the 5th date?
Sure. So my favorite thing that we'd advertise about would be what we call an irresistible freebie. So something that you're going to give away for free. We use our perfect Facebook ad template sometimes that we make it free from our ads. So I love that strategy. And from there, then you can move them into your sales process. If it's a webinar or a strategy session like RJ was talking about, we're going to move them in, build the relationship, and allow them to get to know you and move them through whatever your process is to get them working with you at a deeper level. So that's my favorite. Another type of ad, we can go direct into a purchase depending on the purchase, the price point. That takes a unique kind of ad that I probably don't have time to go into a huge amount of detail, but the thing that you want to remember about that is most people are not going to buy from you the very first time they meet you. And so we have what we call a retargeting strategy where we get ads back in front of them multiple times so that they can, be aware of you, come see what you have, go away and think about it. And then when you get your ad back in front of them, they're like, you know what, I really do want to get that. So that can work for retargeting ads. We have lots of clients who are booking, 8 or 10 strategy sessions a week out of their Facebook ads with like a tiny budget of $10 a day. So that can work really well depending on what your sales process is. So lots of different options in terms of getting people in. And we love webinars as well. We help people get their webinars created. And so if you have a webinar, that can work great with a Facebook ad as well.
Well, and I was fascinated too by, you were talking about how the Facebook faucet, which is the name of your business, that's a part of a whole, you know, process. There's the Facebook ad of it all, but then there's, you know, what does that lead to? What road, what journey is your client taking? And that's what I love about you, is that you think about the whole client journey, not just this part of it.
Yeah, I guess I'm a bit strategic. The CPA in me comes out with that. So yeah, we help our clients actually with their funnels too. So in our 7-figure funnel formula, really the thing that I love about Facebook ads is it can help you figure out each piece of your online, how you bring in clients, how to make it convert better. And when I struggled, I wasn't bringing any clients, and then went to 3 million. One piece of that was the Facebook ads, but the other piece was that Facebook ads showed me which pieces weren't working and how to fix them, so I could see what the response was to my clients. So from our Facebook ad, let's say it's in sending them to our Facebook ad template. So we call that a luscious landing page. We'd send them to our luscious landing page where they can see a tiny bit more about our perfect Facebook ad template. They give us their name and email address. I call it a secret weapon thank you page. On the secret weapon thank you page, most often we're inviting people to come on a webinar with us because we can capture their attention for an hour. And we put them into our Facebook faucet program where we help them create their own ads. So many cases they're watching that webinar on the same day. And then some of our high-end clients, we're putting them onto a strategy session. So we have an application process that we put them through. They can book into a calendar and we get them on the phone. And that's how we bring in the clients for our done-for-you services.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a couple of different paths that you lead people down. And you know.
And with the bot.
Yeah.
And we put them into an application on our Facebook bot that RJ brilliantly built for us and walks them through really a quick and easy process so we can get the information we need, make sure they're committed, and moves them through to booking on our calendar.
Well, and that's the thing, is that, you know, knowing how to have that conversation, you know, I'm struck with all the similarities between what we do, that you're doing it in a different arena, but it's all about reaching out to people, talking to them where they're at, being conversational, drawing them in if they have those interests, and then, you know, taking that, being able to take it a step further with an ad. I mean, that's the brilliant stuff. I mean, I just, you know, I spent far too much money on other programs, as I'm sure a lot of people have, you know what I mean? You've probably heard those stories all day long. Yeah, you did.
Been there.
But yeah, this is the way. This is the way that for me feels the most, you know, genuine about it. And that's always what I'm looking for, because I find it really, if I try to be fake, if I try to put all the glitzy marketing language that everybody else uses on stuff, I hate it. And I'm sure my clients hate it too. You know what I mean? Like, so I had to branch off from that a while ago, even though that's what everybody tells you to do. Can't do it anymore.
That's why we get along so well, RJ. And that's what I love about Facebook ads. I'm just the way I am. I don't have a fancy persona I put on camera or whatever. And that's the same with the ad, right? Like, I just get to be me. And let's face it, I'm not glitzy. I'm not glamour. I don't have the perfect talk. None of that. And still with the Facebook ads, you just get to be you. I bring them into a really, honestly, down to earth kind of funnel. I'm just teaching on my webinar strategically, obviously, into a sale. But that's the thing I love about ads so much, Facebook ads in particular, is you don't have to have that, and you don't have to be perfect. Yeah. And I convert better when I'm not.
Tell me about that.
I'm going to share a little embarrassing secret here. So my best converting webinar of all time, I think it was like 26% conversion into my program, was the one I thought was going to be the worst. I left my camera on. Was having a tech issue. I was, dressed from the top up, I wasn't naked on the bottom, but I like had pajama bottoms on the bottom, and I forgot my camera's on, and I'm flustered because my tech isn't working, and I stand up, and then I'm like, oh my God, I just flashed everybody on my webinar, my pajama bottoms, a Minnie Mouse, I believe at that point. And honestly, that was my best converting, because I was just like, you know what, there you go, there you see it, how I work. and it was not perfect by any stretch, because I was also then flustered going into the webinar content after I screwed up. Best converting webinar of all time. So not perfect. You don't need to be perfect either in your marketing or in your message and any of that stuff.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful to me. Stacy says, been there, done that. So you're clearly not the only one. I think we have a question up here. Teresa says, it's hard to say because everyone promotes themselves as super profitable and making big impact. Hard to know what's true and what's not. So can you speak to that a little bit? Because I know that I see a lot of ads that are, you know, I mean, I don't want to say any names, but there are some folks that are pushing themselves out there, and it's, you just read it and you go, there's slime all over that. But then some of them are like, well, is this true? Is this not? How do you figure out the wheat from the chaff, so to speak?
That's a tough one, right? I think that people project their true energy if you get into their funnel and start seeing them on camera or on a webinar, or seeing their marketing stuff. I think we can, if we really paid attention to it, less to the words and more to the energy of the person in the marketing. I'm getting all woo, but I feel like people project who they really are in their marketing, and we can get a feel for that. I know it's tough otherwise, right? Like you see all the stories and all of that. I don't have a great answer for that. I think it's a shame that people put out stuff that's not necessarily true, or that's like pumped up in a way that is misleading.
Well, and you know, the clickbait headline of it all, right?
Yes.
I mean, you know, there's somebody who shall remain nameless who used the headline for the longest time, "Coaching is dead."
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I mean, like, you know, I mean, it gets you to click. Coaching's not dead. I'm a coach. Click. And then you're into the whole thing. So what you're saying, though, is if you do click, make sure you pay attention to what your gut feeling tells you.
Yes.
About what that person's saying. And that's, I mean, that's been true for me. Like, I know the group that we hang around. I love them all. I love them all because they're so genuine. And what you see is what you get. There's no persona here. There's nothing going on like that. So yeah, great advice though. Separating people, because it's so hard. You know, people get taken in all the time. So very good. So a little earlier, we posted a link. I'm gonna throw it up here again. It's in the comments down there. It is a link to Tammy's very fascinating, fabulous, and fantastic. I will say that. It is the perfect Facebook ad template. And believe it or not, that is exactly what we used in her last event to get our Facebook ads online within a weekend. That's what we went through. And so this is not a freebie that somebody made up that, you know, is, just, you know, it's not a throwaway freebie. This is the exact map that we went through absolutely in detail, step by step. And it was so helpful in launching those ads.
And they actually have great timing, and we have great timing, RJ, because once they request that, they're going to get an invitation. I have a training coming up, a free training coming up next week that we're going to be hosting. So they'll get an invitation to that as well. where I'm going to share how not to get your ad account shut down, and as well as the whole system that we go through to get our ads live, like how to do the best targeting, and the other elements, because it's not just about writing the ad, right? You got to get your ads in front of the best people and be able to scale them. So I'm going to go through all of that next week.
And I tell you something about Tammy's trainings. Everyone, bring the notebook. You will need a writing utensil. You'll need the stuff, because it's actionable, valuable information, and it's not delivered to you in a fire hose. It's delivered to you in a way that's palatable for, folks that maybe aren't super geeks like me. It's palatable to regular normal people who don't have like some crazy computer degree. And that's what I love. Her trainings are awesome. And you said it was free.
The biggest thing I think that will be valuable is, first off, is that I'm going to help them figure out if ads are going to work for them. Yeah.
Ads don't work for everybody, do they?
They do not work for everybody. So we have some guidelines we walk through, the types of businesses we're seeing the best results with, all of that. We're going to go through on that training, because there's no point in wasting your time or your money with ads if they're not going to work for you.
Yeah. Well, I find that too. Bots don't work for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier for me to just be honest at the beginning and say, hey, this is not going to be your game. And I'm grateful that you do that. I mean, most people, what they're trying to do is cast the net far and wide, bring in everything you can, but you're leading us by example. And you're saying that it's best, let's just sort people out at the beginning. And if ads aren't right for them, let's not continue on this road.
Yeah, and it frees up so much mental space, right? If you're yes or a no, there's no point in being on the fence about it.
No point, babies. Well, my darlings, our Tammy has some more commitments, so we are gonna sign off. The bot signal. Come hang out with me next Thursday. We're gonna talk bots again, but click that link today. Click it today. Get on that free training and learn whether ads are right for you in the first place. Learn what Tammy has to say. Bring the writing utensils. You will thank me later. And I just want to thank you, Tammy, for coming on and hanging out with my audience today. I know that what you have to say is really, really important to them.
Thank you so much, RJ. I love you. Love your bots. And work with RJ, because she does great bots, and we are the proof of that. How many? We sent out one message and we had 31 strategy session requests. 31, somewhere in that range.
So nice. So nice. That's exactly what we're doing. Mm-hmm. I love working with you and your team, Tammy. So just so you know,
it's a big love fest.
It is a love fest. So come to the Love Fest, people, and I will see you all in a bot.
Sounds lovely. Thanks, RJ.
Bye.